So Eclipse. So see if Herbmon plays the same build here, I think this is a really good build for Eclipse. It's really hard to bust the third base when they open with pool first.
I know that Herbmon had mentioned last night he doesn't like the 2-player, 3-player maps versus Terran in particular, and was trying to practice against this in particular.
Okay.
So we'll see if... So I'm expecting him to be pretty well practiced, and I'm wondering if he has something special on Eclipse altogether as far as build order goes. He's starting the up right-hand corner as the green Zerg, bottom left-hand corner we have Nesh, this time as that midnight blue.
Yeah, I wonder if Herbmon will do anything unorthodox this game. Like I was saying, when I play Herbmon on the ladder, it's almost always 3 hatch, it's almost always mutiling. He wants to win the fight in the center of the map. I was actually really surprised that we didn't see that last game, but he didn't even need lings. His Mutas killed like 40 Marine Medic, legitimately. Like, they just mopped the floor with Nesh for the entirety of that game.
Overlord slowly soddling its way out. That's I will say that 9 times out of... I've seen some epic games with Nesh versus Zerg on this map in particular, and he usually... I'm trying to think the last time he played Machine here. Usually what he'll do is he'll play a little bit more defensive, make sure he establishes a third and just gets a big ball of Medic Marines and just lets the Zerg... just make sure that the Zerg doesn't get a fourth and just pelts and just basically does something similar to what he did prior game, but in a little bit more of a defensive structure. Sometimes he'll just allow that third to go untouched overall, and I'm wondering if he's going to do that here. But one thing is that was Nesh this time last year, and his macro was absolutely on point. Last game we saw Nesh's macro pick up again a little bit, but I will say it's clear that Nesh has a little bit of rust here going into this series.
Yeah, Nesh hasn't been active for a few months, but in the past week he was in one of our Discords playing with Machine. Played a few games with Hawk also. And there were a few games where I was watching Nesh play Hawk, and I'm like, damn, he's bringing it to him, but Hawk a little bit too good for Nesh at this moment. But yeah, Nesh really is playing pretty on point, and I agree with what you said where Nesh plays pretty solid, takes a third base. Like, he really likes battle cruisers also, so I expect if nothing wild happens this game, we're probably going to see 4, 5, 6 battle cruisers once he can get his econ rolling.
Got a 207 gas for Herbmon, so probably going to open up 2 hatch Mutalisk and want to get those out in quite the hurry. We'll see if Nesh so he scouted the hatchery, probably going to skip that first Marine, go for that command center to follow up. Herbmon able to sidle in. We'll see if Herbmon actually with this drone, never mind, going to go for Marine first regardless. Herbmon going to go ahead and exit since he's got eyes and notice that, okay, we got a barracks inside base, we got no gas, so got the information he's looking for and just going to peel out from there. I do feel like Herbmon, it's funny because I was like, Herbmon is kind of my dark horse, but there's so many Terran in this bracket that their best matchup is versus Zerg, and I feel like Nesh, his standout matchup is versus Zerg, so this is going to be a real test for him.
Yeah, if he can make it past Nesh, I mean, he's still going to have a lot of Terrans to go through, but that would be quite impressive. I think Artosis is waiting next, and that's obviously going to be tough. I am very surprised to see these build orders from Herbmon. I guess I haven't kept up to date with his style, but this is nice to see, right? Because I love when people start mixing in builds, and if he can kill this SCV like he did last game, I would love to see the Hydrogen come in and just try and bust him with lurkers.
I would love to see that too. I love it when players mix it up, especially in a tournament situation, because that's one amazing thing in tournament situations is absolutely anything can happen. Absolutely anything. We have the Marines gathering towards the front. Looks like we are going for a 2 racks build, the kind of bread and butter, and I'm wondering if this is just Nesh playing to more the standard comfortable meta here. In game 1, he went in eBay first to get that faster, more passive +1 weapons to start. We'll see if he goes Academy first this time.
Yeah, and I'm looking at that gas, and I see no gas. Okay, well, there's the gas for Nesh, but this is an eco gas. This is more along the lines of builds you saw like 1.5 years ago, 2 years ago. So he's going to have really big econ, but his upgrades are going to lack. They're going to be a little bit slow, and we'll see if he can do anything about the third base. I don't think he'll be able to, so I think Herbmon will likely be able to get his third base up because Nesh's push will be quite slow, but we'll see, I guess.
Yeah, this is kind of looking like that year ago meta where it is the Zerg, because that's really what's the difference. I love that the meta just continuously improves in Brood War, but that's kind of been the shift for Zerg, and why they've moved more towards that interior 3-hatch style is because Terran have had so many of those pushes that obliterate and make it very difficult to hold that third base rapidly. off the 2-hatch muta, there's been kind of that movement more towards 3-hatch play. So I'm wondering if Herbmon, recognizing that Nesh is playing an older style, has made that adjustment and has decided to go more for the 2-hatch Mutalisk in response.
And there is the 3rd hatch at bottom right. That's a sneaky base to take. I don't think Nesh will find that. More often than not, you're taking top middle. So Nesh, he needs to send an SCV out and try and find it when he moves out. Well, okay, Lings come in.
Checking to see if there's any sort of earlier turret building the bottom right a little bit early for that. Canceling the bunker on the front from Nesh. Interesting.
Well, he saw it was only 6 Lings, so he knows that it can't, well, it could theoretically be a Ling all-in, right? But generally people in StarCraft, when they move in like that, they move like their entire army. But that was a good read because it is just 6 Lings, and here comes the first push. But like I said, bottom right is a really sneaky base. If he was to find this immediately, that would be impressive. But he's just going to hang around.
Natural expansion doesn't have any Sutton colonies, so Herbmon not really respecting this. And the Zergling's actually able to sneak through, and I think he was maybe hoping to pull them back, but instead now dedicating. And can he disrupt the SCV building that engineering bay? Right now it's out of position. He had that thought, wasn't able to do it. Is killing what he can, so that's 2 SCVs down. Looks like, one SCV down. Let's see if he's able to get some additional kills on this, but this is annoying. And Nesh, actually, that army back in the base, he's delayed, it looks like, a couple of Marines constructing right there. A single Marine back here, and he might be able to disrupt the turrets here as well, and Mutalisks are going to be in flight in just a second.
Yeah, they're actually already here, man. They're right there. This is 6 of them, too. So he can one-shot Marines, he can't one-shot SCVs or medics, but if he can find isolated Marines, he can definitely rack up a lot of kills. And critically, what he did was he kept the Marines back, so now the 3rd base is up, and there's pretty much no chance of it getting shut down anymore. Another SCV killed, more SCVs getting killed, and that's what I was talking about. Isolated Marines, he's going to pick off 2 of them.
Finally, that turret, I'm not sure why that turret took so long to engage that Overlord. That Overlord looks like it's going to get, repositioned. But Herbmon, he's got drones waiting, needs to cap that gas bottom right. But a pretty successful harass overall. Took some damage, it looks like, on 1 Mutalisk, but they're pretty healthy overall. He has more joining the group. In the previous game, he ended up upgrading +1 weapons. I'm curious if he's going to do that again, but it looks like he's got 3 racks. He's dropping that factory, and I'm wondering if he's going to go for a tank push to follow this up. I would be very wary of doing that. It looks like the Mutalisks moving into the main, able to get an additional SCV kill. The Marines getting a little bit peeled out, and Herbmon capitalizing on it, able to get a kill right there. Took some damage, but honestly, I think that was a pretty decent attack.
Yeah, not bad. Also forced a decent chunk of SCVs to be pulled off. I think Nesh is kind of oh no, he's not panicking. His factory's almost done, so he's still hitting his build. Still gonna have good starport and vessel timing. Herbmon is taking a long time to get his 3rd base up and running. Okay, there we go. He actually has a decent amount of drones. Just mining gas though in his main. Does that mean he's going? Okay, there we go. Hydrogen. I thought for a moment he might just be going mass mutas.
He does have the Hydralist Den down. Let's see if he ends up utilizing it. I'm curious if he went for the +1 weapons upgrade. Nesh playing very defensively. Nice pick off of the turret yet again. And a Marine again stranded that back corner. It looks like Nesh moving out, killed some Zerglings out in the front. Herbmon turning around, getting a nice angle and killing a lot of Marines with this. And it almost feels like the Marines, I assume they have range at this stage, but they're almost playing like they don't have range here.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think they do have range, but I have had games where you don't have it and you have a huge ball and you look away for a second and everything's dead. It's like, well, wait a minute, what the hell just happened? But Nesh, he did take some losses there. I think he traded decently. We can see supplies still around even, 70 to 64, and this is a lot of mutas for Herbmon.
Yeah, Herbmon, I feel like he might have over-dedicated to the Mutalisks game 1. Here he's built a massive amount of Mutalisks. He's got +1 weapons, and is he thinking about going? He's got the Hydralist Den. He's making his way towards Hive, but this is a big dedication here, and this wasn't a late science vessel timing at all. So, and there are double starports to follow. It looks like we also have the 5 racks continuation. Marines making their way across the map. The Mutalisks looking for some stragglers between point A and point B. But we have maybe doing that because he has absolutely no Sutton colonies out on the front here, so he's going to go for a pure Mutalisk defense should Nesh make his way to the natural expansion.
Yeah, this is a little dangerous for Herbmon because he's stuck at, mass mutas. I didn't see okay, there we go. There's an evolution chamber. There's the hive. So I take all that back. I thought he was just going to try and engage this army, but Nesh was going for 5 racks. He was going for double upgrades. He's got starports, and those mutas are now no longer trading that well, so he needs to start transitioning into something. Hopefully that hive is quite far along.
Looks like it is pretty far along. We're going to have science vessels out in not too long from now, and one or two irradiates. Usually the mutaball ends up being a little bit, looks like, yeah, getting that creep colony, finally recognizing that irradiate's not that far away, and so those mutalisks were going to be somewhat negated. So getting the creep colony out in the front defensively, hasn't mutated it yet, and so playing it really, really safe in that regard. We do have the 2 lurkers to the south providing some defense right there. No Nidus, however. So Herbmon may be trying to save a few minerals here and there by having more mutalisks in the air, but Nesh getting a lot of territory and moving forward. And this is only a single Sunken colony, and Herbmon, he's going to go in, engage the mutalisks. If Nesh can come up here and get his science vessel across the map protected somehow, he might be able to breach this.
Okay, those are lurkers. Is he really going to go for it? He is acting like he's going. This is suicide, I think. Remember, there's mutas still out on the map. Okay, he backs off. But the lurkers did way too much damage, and now this is not critical mass marines anymore, so this is just going to get eaten up.
Oh, so units getting obliterated. It looks like medics getting wiped out, and that absolutely hurts. So Nesh completely reset, trying to dash out on the map. It looks like so these are stimmed marines with no medic support currently against a good ball of mutalisks, and I don't see the science vessels supporting, and they're going in at the perfect line where the mutalisks just obliterating them. So Nesh getting reset again, and now Herbmon looking in a strong position going into the late game.
Yeah, so Herbmon got exactly what he wanted. He got a massive reset on the marine medic. All he really needs to do now is drone up, man, and start powering, because I feel like that's what caused him to fall apart last game. Is even though he had a lot of hatches, it didn't seem like he had that many drones, and if he can just keep his econ in check and don't get busted anywhere, I think he'll be fine. We've got the 6 racks coming in. Oh my god, I just realized the science facility just now finished, so that means we don't have any vessels at all.
Oh, so he had the timing on the starports, but it looks like he forgot the science facility. Terran Factory taking some damage on that corner. Some lurkers moving forward, and again, this is without science vessel support. So Nesh in emergency mode here. It looks like he's running 7 barracks off 2 bases now. So this is very much an emergency, and Lurker is able to cut off reinforcements. And this is no Defiler support, but Lurkers are still very, very dangerous against Medic Marines, even with science vessels. And it looks like Nesh finding some space to get back. Another Sunken Colony being dropped. He's gonna try to, we actually might be able to stop that 12 o'clock location. I am shocked. A Marine getting up in there, and it looks like he's gonna be able to stop that drone. An absolute miracle counterattack here from Nesh.
Yeah, but now these units are stuck.
Now the units are stuck, however. Let's see if Herbmon is clever and just expands someplace else. Lurkers slowly making their way forward.
Does Nesh even know about bottom right? I don't think we've seen any movement there, so he may...
He commented it earlier,
okay.
So he knows about it, but he hasn't made any sort of assault. Finally, we got, 2 science vessels out at the 12-minute mark, but separated from the army. So keep in mind, as soon as these lurkers burrow, by the way, they're not detected with this army. Another Medic Marine army reset, and we still have these lurkers that are out on the front that Nesh has to be wary of.
Yeah, it's only 3, though. You should be able to take it down. Marine now trying to find that 4th base, but we know there wasn't a 4th base, but now it is being set up at top middle. Even supply almost. He's got to get rid of these lurkers. I mean, this is just free supply.
Finally going in and attacking them on the edge, but losing a good amount of Marines for that effort. Looks like he wants to go ahead and try to expand to the 9 o'clock location. Now we'll see the science vessels up. They don't have energy, and it looks like they might get picked off. 1 irradiate right there, but that was worth it to take out a science vessel.
Yeah, he got off at least 1 of the irradiates, but still 7 mutalisks survive, and you can see that SCV died pretty quick, so gonna buy some more time to delay that 3rd base.
Herbmon still needs to get that 4th gas up and running. He's in a really, really good position. He's got some defilers out. Double evolution chambers running, so wants to run the upgrade gain from here. And Nesh doing pretty well keeping the upgrades, but this is where things have started. So despite all of Herbmon's good work up to this stage, this is often the time where we've seen him fall apart previously versus Nesh, when Nesh gets those science vessels up in the air and is just able to drop the radiates really efficiently. Here, right though, has all of his expensive units currently. This is just, I think, again, out of practice, stranded away from the bulk of his Medic Marine, or the bulk of his Marine, I should say. So a bit of his skeleton was finally regathering it, and he looks like he might want to make another shot here at the 12 o'clock base. I think he's going to have a flurry of irradiates to potentially punch through.
Yeah, no Nidus, so he could definitely take this down, but with him being stacked up, it's gonna take him a long time to get through 3 lurkers.
Still, yeah, gotta drop 1 radiate at a time. But grouped out towards the natural, Needle's regathering. It looks like they want to get some additional damage on the science vessels if they can. A couple Marines dying as they're walking a little bit too forward. Nesh not going to wait, dropping a defense matrix to try to punch through. One walks through, but the secondary attack obliterating the secondary lines. Let's see if those Mutalisks nearby. They might be able to clean this up otherwise. Now it looks like Defiler Swarm able to drop that. Marine able to get, looks like no kills, but able to create a little bit of frustration there. But Nesh just donating an army once again. Still has some medic Marines nearby. But Herbmon critically looks like he's going to be able to establish this 4th gas.
Yep, he's going to get this base up and running. Double Nidus, so he's got all the Niduses that he needs. He's got his Ultralisk Cavern, double Evolution Chamber, so upgrades should be pretty good. And he's got a good gas bank, so I expect to see same comp as last game. See a few Ultras get out onto the map pretty soon.
Nesh has a whole lot of barracks running. Looks like he's going to go to dropship and hope to get a miracle drop somewhere out on the map. Doing a pretty good job macroing a bunch of fire bats out this time with the medic Marines, and I think he's going to hit +2/+2 fairly quickly here. And let's see if he's able to find those Mutalisks and drop some additional radiates. But this has been what's been fantastic for Nesh through a lot of these matches, is just having this uncontested science vessel force continuously attacking those high-value gas units for Herbmon.
Yeah, for having such a late science facility, and remember, he already lost, his first 2 vessels, and he still has 6? So that's a lot of irradiates. He's really been on top of his production there. He's got 3 bases. Nesh is still in it, just like he was last game. And now I'm looking at supply. He's up 50 supplies somehow.
So Nesh able to turn it around, get 50 supply up. Herbmon, yeah, just kind of dropping macro here, it looks like, at this stage of the match. This is a huge amount of science vessels, but Plague dropped out on the front. The Lurker's just going to be able to sneeze on those fire bats and Marines and wipe them out. And Scourge finally flying in, so Herbmon correcting it, getting 3 science vessels right there. There's still 4 in the air, but that's a big win.
Yeah, Herbmon really needed that. There's a huge difference between 4 vessels and 8 vessels. It just feels like once you reach 8 to 10 vessels, they just never run out of energy, so well done there.
Nesh building looks like 4th command center to go ahead and sidle up and grab that 10 o'clock, so to just keep the party rolling. And yeah, I gotta say, Nesh, where he was looking really, really ugly in early stages, all of a sudden looking pretty strong. He's managed to get a good science vessel count out. He's managed to keep the medic Marine count high. All of a sudden has a 60 supply lead. A couple Lurkers out in the front, they're going to get irradiated, but he has this big ball of attack force nearby that's kind of boxing Herbmon in. The drop moving here, bottom right, looks like it's going to cycle all the way around. Lurkers dropping there. We do have a Nidus Canal in between. Nesh dropping a comsat to see whether it's clear. Just going to redraw and smatter those Marines across this hatchery. Looks like that's pretty easily going to get cleaned up here by Herbmon, because we have 1 comsat. Where's the additional comsats? No additional comsats, and it looks like the Lurkers are going to, in fact, win this fight. So the dropships being negated. Looks like he's going to continuously drop some additional radiates to the 12 o'clock to try to penetrate there. But Herbmon, in the meantime, he's got 4 gases up. He's been sitting on it for quite some time, but he really hasn't been able to just produce the macro to make it happen. I haven't seen a big grouping of Ultralisks or Defilers out on the field.
Well, I see speed on the Overlords. We could have a Julia type of strategy coming in. I know Julia loves to go for Lurker drops, Defiler Lurker drops, with Dark Swarm harassment. That could be a good way to come back into this game. I see a 5th base going down for... Wow, that's just so many Lurkers.
Lurkers absolutely obliterating those Marines. That is just a sea of red, but more medic Marines swarming in, and Nesh wants to end it here, pushing into that natural expansion. A couple Ultralisks right. Is this going to be enough? We got 1 Ultra. I don't see any Defiler currently. That Ultra getting absolutely melted, and we got Lurkers coming through the Nidus to try to defend this. Looks like he is going to be able to get some drone kills, but I don't know if that was worth what looked like 3 armies worth of units. And it looked like at least 2 science vessels, make that 3 science vessels, potentially 4 as soon as that Scourge wakes up. Never mind the radiate gonna kill it.
Yeah, but look at the just non-stop reinforcements from Nesh. Like, I feel like I'm watching a rush game. It's just a non-stop Marine medic across the map from his rally point. He's taking a 4th base behind this too. Somehow 3 Marines have snuck behind these Lurkers. These Lurkers aren't burrowed. luckily some ultras coming down. I think they can save the day, maybe not.
So Nesh continuing to reinforce. It looks like he's now moving up some SCVs to cap that 12 o'clock, but we have a drop in the main from Herbmon. Mostly it looks like of Zerglings. He's starting to work on the supply depots here in the rear. It looks like I also missed to drop the natural expansion. That was expended. He had 3 bunkers preventatively for Nesh. It looks able to clear that out, and it looks like it still had some units inside. And 2 battle cruisers now out for Nesh. So Herbmon's gas really going to get tested. He wasn't able to breach the natural expansion, but Herbmon just now getting that 4th up at the 5 o'clock location. So he's going to be sitting on 4 gas pretty comfortably, and he's starting to move out on the map, and he's cleared that science vessel count. So I feel like Herbmon actually starting to take control of this game.
Yeah, this is a critical moment for Herbmon. Like you said, taking out the vessels and also that drop, seeing the battle cruisers. That means that there's no 6-8 vessels that were waiting at the rally point because the vessel or the battle cruisers take so long to build. So this is definitely a key moment for Herbmon. He just needs to stabilize his bases, and well, this is one way: just wipe the entire Terran army off the map.
We've got more reinforcements moving up, but not a lot of medics, and this is a lot of Ultralisks. They do have level 4 Carapace. I think this is level 3 weapon Marines. So, and the Ultras have it. Well, one of them bugging out, having trouble. It looks like the Marines are going to be able to eventually kill these Ultralisks, maybe. I keep looking at thin ones, but Nesh realizing he just doesn't have enough. And GG's, Herbmon takes it. He's going to advance to fight our, I want to say hero of the stream here, Artosis.
Yeah, Artosis versus Herbmon. That should be a good matchup. Like, Nesh played very well, and Herbmon still won. I think Herbmon needs to be a little bit careful, because there were some moments in these games where I thought he really had Nesh on the ropes, and then Nesh is making a big comeback. And Artosis can play the same style that Nesh played, so I'm excited to see, potentially, not a rematch, but essentially a rematch, because it's going to be a similar style that we see in the next series.